If you've ever seen those insane backboard photos that NBA photographers are able to get, they've probably set it up with a remote. Today, we're going to try and set one up ourselves. The basics of a backboard remote camera are pretty simple. All it is a main arm that has the camera clamped onto it, and then a second arm supporting it so it doesn't wiggle. Those arms usually look like this. This is a Manfrotto magic arm, and I'm able to mount my camera onto it and then twist a clamp right here to tighten it down. This is the second most important part. These are pocket wizards. When I send a shutter signal on one camera, it sends it to the other and allows them both to fire at the same time. This allows me to not have to be up there and it'll shoot by itself. Finally, and this is a must-have, is you have to have safety cables. These hook around the backboard and ensure it will not come down if anything fails. Now that we've got the basics out of the way, let's head over to the basketball arena and set ours up.
So we're here at the pavilion right now. We're about 4 hours away from tip-off, and I'm going to go in and essentially get all my cameras set up, and then I'm going to go get a ladder out, get up behind the backboard, and I'm going to rig my first remote arm, and then my second one to make sure it doesn't shake. I'll walk you through it all, but if I can't film, I'll just do a voiceover, and I'll try my best to explain it.
So I made sure to get to the arena around 4 hours early, so I was out of the way of any players that might be warming up or any staff that might be doing anything else on the court. This ensures I have enough time to set up safety and just double check everything and make sure nothing's going to fall.
Here we got it rigged up. This is sort of our setup to make sure it doesn't move. 2 arms, not going anywhere.
So here was my first mistake. I mounted the camera too low instead of up higher at an angle pointing downwards. I wanted to get more of the crowd in it, and I realized I wasn't going to get that much from it being that low of an angle. So next time I do this, I definitely know to go higher on the backboard with my mount. The second thing I noticed was when the game had started, the camera had actually shifted a little bit right, and this was due to me either A, not screwing down the mount to the actual camera hard enough, or I could have just taped it to prevent it from turning. Both of these issues, I was not worried about it falling because I had safety cables in place, but it's good to know and good to implement next time because I'm glad I learned something. And then for the next 40 minutes, I photographed the game, praying to God my remote camera did not fall. Even though I had safety cables in place, it's still nerve-wracking having your camera almost 12 feet in the air. So as you can see, this is where the camera was originally mounted, where the rim was just in the bottom right of it. There was a lot of open room, but as the game went on, the camera slowly started to turn a little bit right, and this was just me not screwing it down hard enough and taping down everything. I cannot emphasize that enough. Tape down every single part of it because you don't know what's going to move, what's going to wiggle. So this was my fault, and it's a good learning experience to go into next time. As you can see, I was still able to get some stuff with it being a little bit turned, but I really wish I had gone higher up and angled it more downwards, and this wouldn't have been as much of an issue. But I was still able to get a few that I liked. This one with the Dio was really good, but as you can see, it's so cropped in that this is just not ideal, obviously. So if we go back to the original, I mean, this takes up almost half the frame, and that's just not what you want. More ideally, I would have put the camera up here in the top left, and we would have had to deal with this, but you live and you learn, unfortunately. So another issue with the backboard camera is, as you can see, there's reflections right here, the Sonic logo right here as well, and usually this is eliminated by putting some either black construction paper or some sign fold below the camera to eliminate those reflections. But this was my first time setting up a remote camera. I was worried a ref or someone for the stadium might say I can't do that, so I didn't even want to bother with it. Next time, I would take a circular polarizer, and this will usually eliminate most of those reflections. The biggest issue during the game was trying to focus on the action and not worry about my camera falling. It was my first time ever setting up a remote, so I was terrified because I have my camera dangling from the backboard, and it really did hinder my ability to go take photos because the whole time I was just constantly checking on the remote, making sure it was okay. So I feel like with time that will get better, but I feel like that's a growing pain you're going to have your first time setting up a backboard camera. Another great thing about remotes is it's not just a backboard cam. You can put it under the goal. So I've seen people in soccer put it behind the soccer net, and there's so many ways you can get creative with this. I've seen people put them in the roofs before. So experimenting with this, knowing how to do it safely and knowing how to effectively get the photos you want out of your remotes is so important, but it just takes learning. It takes practice. I'm still learning, obviously, but that's basically how I went through it. Overall, remotes are a phenomenal tool you can add to your arsenal that can get you some unique shots that no one else is going to get. They are a kind of a pain in the butt. You got to get there really early. You got to make sure everything's secure, and you cannot rely on just your remote photos being good because it's a 1 in a million chance that they're going to be right. You can prep as much as you want, but at the end of the day, your photos that you're taking on the ground with your camera, with your eye in the viewfinder, are always going to be better. So this isn't just a one-hit thing that you can rely on for every single game, but it's a good tool to add to your bag. If you do want to see any of these photos, they are on my Instagram at evanf.raw. That is all I have for y'all today. Take care, folks.